Hello everybody, Jimbinator here. I'm going to make an update to the 2B aggression shift guide. I just feel lately people still don't have a good idea of what to do against this character. And I think maybe it's time to dispel some things, or at least give you an idea of what your interactions boil down to when she does things to you. So, her integral part of her kit in many senses is aggression shift, AGS for short. And she can do many things from this stance. How she enters this stance, however, is the important part, because you can do it from neutral, that is slow, but it can also be evasive. You know, there's a crouch on it the whole time, and you can also do like a back crouch. So it's a way to kind of maneuver around your opponent, but it's kind of hard to do. Then you have interactions when you block an AGS transition, which is where I'm going to start, because that's where the baseline will be for the stance, in my opinion. So let's set this up. So you're gonna have 6-6B. That's one of her baseline entries on block. Because you go into AGS A. AGS is I-12, which I will demonstrate right now. Which means quickest options will clash. And because AGSA has a crouch, you cannot spam an I-10 and expect to hit her. So, what are your options defensively? If you have like an auto GI, you'd get her off you. Normal GI will work, but you have to delay it. But level 3 GIs are very saucy. You can reversal edge, which if she does AGSA, that will guarantee a hit. But now I'm going to do a little addendum to that defensive option, which I'm going to demonstrate right now. AGS-AA is an option that pretty much beats reversal edge. If I let go, I get counter hit, and I don't get my reversal edge off. So then it becomes a 50-50 of, am I going to hold RE or not? You know? Because I can keep holding it, make the read, get my hit. And then reversal edge, shenanigans, minigame, ooh. Or, then that opens up her doing the prior response. I'm holding it. She can block. Or sidestep if you have a slower RE, which is pretty bad. Anyway, let's slide back to what she can do in AGS. So, AGSA is effectively, in my brain, I-12, because it clashes with I-12s. It's +2 on some sheets, but in my head, this is how it works. And so, what's an option up from that? I can go 2 frames slower and fish for counter hits, I-14. But, you know, fishing for counter hits with I-14, a linear I-14 move is kind of, you know, it can work, but it's not statistically reliable, in my opinion. But it can work, you know. Then she can then throw. That's the next fastest option up. Throws are good. Throws are very strong in AGS because you get pressure or like a good knockdown. That's front throw. That was back. This is front throw. Does 61 damage, and you're right at my feet, and you cannot tech this knockdown. So you gotta kind of defend yourself. And look, I'm back in AGS again. You know, the cycle continues. So let's start there. 1B on hit also has these other properties as 6-6B on block, which is my neutral baseline. So she also has a neutral on hit low that you also have to contend with. And mind you, you can also do other things to circumvent this, but I want to keep it strictly in reversal edge, aggression shift, where we can kind of really understand what goes through the 2B player's head when aggression shift is involved. Okay, so there you have it. Now, we're next. Let's continue breaking down the options. So, like I said before, 2A is a good answer to this interaction because it will clash. And the clash, she's in back turned. So her options are either an unsafe linear tech jump but with auto GI properties, 2A to keep speed in check, but since she's back turned, you are faster, or she's just thinking you're going to block and then throw you, you know? Those are your immediate options when that clash occurs, which can be beneficial to your character. I don't know. Depends. So anyway, but I want to beat the A, or yeah, I'm the 2B player. I'm being aggressive, and I want to beat 2A. Okay, what are my options then? It's not that. Enter A plus B. A plus B is pretty much a dragon punch. It beats everything. It's invincible at a certain frame, and it's like all-inclusive. You can't really escape it. So you kind of have to block. Now granted, she does things like that. Just blocking, I-16 punish. And for some characters, that's pretty saucy. You know, 2B not very saucy, but she can still make do. So, yeah. That's that. But you can't attack, that's the thing. Versal Edge is also a great option, because it'll be guaranteed every time, and you gain a lot of meter because you're parrying a million hits. Auto GIs are good. It's treated as a horizontal, so base hold, if you're Siegfried, will also counter these bubbles. Whatever other horizontal auto GIs out there. I don't know them all on the top of my head. Okay. So you can also hold the bubble. Holding the bubble drops it from -16 to -8, which means you can GI, sidestep, do things to circumvent your turn. But if you're trying to evade, it's not very effective. That's I-14 counter hitting me, I-16, I think it's like 20. Yeah, so I-20, yeah. So that will only parry up to I-20. So unless you're launching her after getting hit by 1B, I don't think holding it's a very strong option if you're trying to evade. Anyway, that's that. So those are the bubbles, but again, -8. Reversal Edge will still parry every hit and get oodles of meter. And then now we got the slower moves, the mix-ups, which you won't have to deal with an aggression shift if you're being active in your defense. Because these are mix-ups, but they're slow. They're like I-28. So you have plenty of time to mash a button or a defensive option or step if you feel like you need to step. Because when you hit them with the mix-up, okay, you go to air stance. I can end the sequence there, get my damage, and let's start again. Or I can go for funny setups, or the dangerous one, restart pressure. Now this is kind of fake what I'm doing right now. You kind of just gotta sit there to make this work, but you know, it can happen. You can also go for big damage with aggression shift BA, and this is an untechable at my feet knockdown, which is very strong. The one drawback is this is -24. From the front, it's -14 if you block it from the back. So you have to be wary of where you're blocking this circular pendulum move, because this is Soul Calibur, everybody. Anyway, so if you block it, you get oodles of damage. She does have means to circumvent your damage, but if you just do things like this, you get gigantic damage. So let's just do some kind of attack out of AGS. Or that. So, you know, that's I-24. So she has to really stick her neck out if she wants to, like, not die. Laser her. I can't get too slow, but like it's looking like a good I-24-ish punish that could hit her in the air. It'll be very optimal here, even faster if you got it. So there's that, and then she can do a aerial leap B, which is this move from air stance to kind of counter hit you. But look at that, that's not much damage. To demonstrate, she gets 37 damage when she's not in soul charge, which is high risk, low reward. So keep that in mind. If I just chill out and block, okay, again, I-16 punish, thank you. Again, high risk, low reward. And soul charge changes, but we're not at that point yet. So, there's that. You can also go super unga bunga dunga and just go CE, which is the same principle applies. If I just block, get my 16 punish, or, you know, just step. Get my gigantic punish because you did a dumb thing. But again, if you're trying to hit her out of the air, this will counter hit you for about 85, which is a chunk. And while this animation is happening, her guard gauge is increasing, and because she hits you in air CE, she gained 10% guard gauge. So if she's in the red when she hits you with that, she's gonna be in like early yellow. So keep that in mind if you do those things. Anyway, so there's that. She can also do other things from air stance, but like when you get blocked, I'm not looking to do other things in air stance. You can kind of float in the air, but that's, you know, pretty gimmicky. I can like flip and hope you do a dumb thing, you know, and capitalize on your misknowledge of the situation. But you know, that's kind of how that boils down to right now. Okay, let's take a break. It's a lot of information at once. So, going back to what she did with AGS, so that's the low. That's how the low boils down to. She hits you with the mid. She can continue pressure as from the low. So, and this pressure is a bit more formidable because the knockdown's awkward. She can kick you and go for Okazemi setups, which I just flubbed for the world to see. On some characters, that will lethal hit. You'll get the second hit to whiff to get the coveted lethal hit. That's really hard to hit on 2B. Anyway, so you can do a lot of things. You can also go for points. That's +4 analysis points. If the angle works out, I can pick you up. And then start the wild ride this way too. A lot of things I can do. 2B's wild ride. This will ring out. Mind you, if you're at an angle that you're at the ring edge. There's a lot of things she can do from this. She can go into soul attack and start super pressure, super ride, which no one likes to fight and everyone cries about. Rightfully so, it's annoying. Yeah, or hope you don't tech and then try to go for a big damage read. But if you side tech that, she's very left open. Then she has a kind of more niche-y, like the Philosopher, exactly. Defensive option, but also kind of a pseudo mix-up option is 2A, an AGS 2A. With AGS 2A, this GI is horizontals, but we gotta be a little bit more demonstrative on why I would want to GI horizontals when A plus B exists. It does everything for me. Well, AGS 2A is only -12 at kissing range, so if I block, okay, I'll take my -12, which is better than nothing. But mind you, it's a projectile, so if you're blocking from over here, don't expect to get your punish. Be wary of your spacing. So, but also the window is earlier that GIs occur. Which, here we go. AGSA is one of her least favorable transitions on block. So much so that 2A will counter hit even the start of the Dragon Punch. I-14 will lose, be wary of that. But so you can contain that option always with 2A. So in Season 2, they added AGS 2A to deal with this situation more properly. So I do that, it beats my 2A, I'm knocked down, and now I gotta deal with this. Like, you can tech, and she's not super plus, but you know, being knocked down sucks. Again, only for -12. You can counter hit it normally, but you can't like step G it and expect to not just get your AA. And mind you, if you know she's gonna go for these options, mash. You know? Mash something big. I-32. Not I-30, I-28. It's I-28, this move. I say pseudo mix-up, because some people, when they get hit, they start reactively playing. So they're like, oh, she's an AGS, I better get ready to defensively guess. Uh-oh, okay. AGSB -12 as well, keep that in mind. Oh no, but you don't have to respect it half the time, you know? You're an AGS, what are you doing? Get away from me. You know? Screw you. Like, what do you think you're doing? Get back over there and play neutral. You know? But it's very hard to react to AGS online, so have fun with that, everybody. Anyway, so moving on to more AGS goodies. That's kind of how all that boils down to. It's a lot of information. It's a lot to process at once. So let's go back to the baseline. You know what to do. If you want to beat the fastest option, you got a 2A. But reminder, you can still get GI'd if you 2A here. So just be, you know, cognizant of that. So even on neutral. So 2A is not free when the AGS is involved, but it's a generally strong option. And that's just the baseline. What I call the neutral situation. Now, let's boil down other situations that you'll commonly see. AAA. AAA suddenly makes AGS a lot more aggressive to deal with. Because if you get hit by AA, the third hit will jail and enter a plus on block situation for 2B that you must have some sort of answer to. So, mash, wrong. You get counter hit for 70 damage. What about another mash? No, wrong. Okay, step, strong. But now you're going to get run countered by AGSA. But if you have this damage in store for it, by all means do it. What's stopping you? So, you cannot mash here. But again, you can also reversal edge. But the same principle applies to AGS AA as it does with AGS KK. Only AGS KK hurts a lot more if you're wrong, and I gotta deal with Okazemi, so keep that in mind. So step is generally a strong option to deal with plus on block entries, because it's not gonna mean you're gonna get destroyed by attempting to do something, you know? It's like, okay, I'm just gonna step, alright, whatever, it's like 18, 20 damage, it's okay. But that can also stack, so be aware of that. Stepping also puts you in prime position to get thrown 5,000 times in a row. Because you're being this kind of defensive, you gotta break throws, and keep in mind, these are command throws, so you can't freely move as much as you want to because you're -6, so keep that in mind. And she can also just get real cheeky and follow you. So, if you stop stepping and she's still in stance, she's going to keep realigning with you. But that's kind of hard, and you got to be really confident that you're not going to get launched when you do stuff like that, in my opinion. But, you know, it's possible. So, you got to have more specific answers. Again, RE is generally decent, and now because she's going for counter hits, GI becomes a bit more immediate as a defensive option. Again, level 3 GIs are spicy. Especially if you're like a character with a lethal hit, you know? So there is that. You get both. If you guess right on the hit though for AGS KK, you will get a clash. So there's that. Yeah, that's how that boils down to. And this move, 4-4B, the super long range guard break setup, behaves identically. So if you're trying to mash, why are you trying to mash at full screen, boy? I'm gonna mash here, you know? But keep that in mind. You gotta have a more specifically defensive answer in mind. Also, you should be very precise when you try to punish AGS KK. Because you're too slow, she's gonna fly away. And you gotta be right there ready to hit her, you know? Just little tidbits like that. Yeah, if you try to chase her, she's gonna be airborne and combos are gonna drop. And no one likes combo drops. Okay. Water break. Okay, moving on. Let's go to... So that's our plus on hit, our plus entries. Plus on block entries. AAA and 4-4B. AGSA also behaves the same way on hit. So I try to mash, I think. Yeah, if I try to mash, I'm going to get counter hit. But I can also step and avoid danger. But I was gonna say but this is a special thing. If she's trying to counter hit you with AGSK on like AAA, blah 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 blah, AA, if you have an I-10 AA, you will clash. There's an I-10 in general. You will clash with that frame trap. and you won't have to deal with it. Which is, and again, this is multi-hit, so you're only gonna get punched for like 7 damage. A pretty advantageous clash for you, if you're precise. So, that's that. Moving on to disadvantaged transitions is good old, we're gonna start with AGSK, because the thing with AGSK is you have AGSKK, which is a high, so the final hit's a high, but if you try to do anything else, you're gonna get counter hit. It's a 1 frame gap, so you have to duck. If you don't duck, you know, if you do duck, you get oodles of damage and everyone's happy. But keep that in mind. You can also delay the kick, so then GI would be formidable, but why you're GI near? Like, what are you doing? But level 2. Might even be able to crouch under it if you're sharp. So there's that. But then she can go into AGS again from AGSK. And now you got frame traps again. Like, say if I'm trying to duck my punish, I'm gonna get counter hit if I buffer it while not paying attention to the kick. There's no way to fuzzy it and kind of get a counter hit, you know? So you're gonna get hit. So then you have to be immediate in your response. So you cannot wait for something to happen and then respond. You have to make an option. You have to make a decision right then and there, or you're gonna be taken advantage of. So, for instance, now I'm faster. So 2A will beat you. But now I can get kind of specific with my defense. If you're trying to frame trap me, I can clash you if you have an I-14 like vertical. And mind you, she's back turned too, so you can get spicy stuff like this. She tries to like get over zealous with trying to keep you contained, you know, when she's not in soul charge. So there is that. Just things to keep in mind, you know, how her stances kind of work. So, but she can also make the read, and then, you know, A plus BU. And just a quick thing about A plus B, she can get soul attacks off of it. It's her best follow-up. She can also get CEs for damage, which is nice. If you're by a wall, things like this will combo. Like, you'll get rejuggled, you know. But, yeah, there you go. Soul attack, and then you're right into Crazy Town, which is everyone's favorite place to be when they're fighting 2B. So, love Crazy Town. So that's that. Now we can get a little bit more specific with other disadvantaged entries, such as 66A. This boils down to the same as the one I just talked about, AGSK. I-14 will clash. The annoying thing is it comes from a low, and you gotta have the mentality that like, oh, I just got hit, I'm not minus, you know, that kind of thing. Like, I'm plus if she does that, which is great. But then, you know, we've been over all the ante. She can bubble through, you know, she can AGI you, whatever. But that's kind of where things like this come into play, which is a bit more nuanced and doesn't really happen as much. We're like, okay, oh, anti-time. Wait, what? Level 3 GI. So there's also things that can happen, because then she can use your proactive defense to her advantage, and then be more conservative and go for things like analysis points and neutral-based play, and really capitalize on your antsiness. But that's for the 2B, you know, encyclopedia, which is coming out 2025 when I finally earned my dissertation in Soul Calibur. Anyway, so that's that. So then we have 6BB, which is a very interesting move, because AGS entries are kind of poopy if you're trying to frame trap. On hit, it's an excellent frame trap. On block, it's a very poor frame trap. You know, the I-16 will clash. If you got like a body hit I-16, you can get weird stuff like that. You know, never do that to me again. You know, getting really specific with your punishes will like scare the 2B player, being like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. Or they will anyway, because they don't use their brains. Who knows these days? Wink. So, there's that. 6-6 BB also has a large degree of space generated on interaction. Look how far I am, you know? I'm right at kissing, range 0. I'm all the way out here if I choose not to go into stance. So any preemptive defense will easily, you know, get blown up. Hopefully this will work the way I want it to work. Okay, no, it's a little too slow for that. And then, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. She can blow you up for it. If you get, like, you're using stuff like this. And she also has something that's not AGS specific, but, so, like I said, trying to frame trap with AGS is crap. However, AGSing or frame trapping with a string extension is not crap. Because now if I try to do my usual anti, I'm getting counter hit and knocked down. I have to deal with AGS Oki, hooray. Or like 2B Oki in general. You can step this and destroy her. You know, she whiffs for a long ass time. You can GI, which are options, but they're kind of inferior to just moving out the way and hurting her. So, Step G is a very strong answer to 6 BB. However, throws, you know, those exist. Step 2G, okay, I can A you, or I can just continue. That's the thing, you can keep this going for like a good second before you have to press anything. You know, look how long I'm holding the button. I'm still able to do things. So, don't be so sure. You know what I'm saying? Alright. Then we have other entries that are kind of really bad, that if you're getting pressure off of it, you're capitalizing on just like, oh, whoa, I didn't expect that. 2-2B, this is a primarily a whiff punish tool, but on normal hit, you can get like, you know, an AGS A, which is cool, I guess. And on counter hit, you can get a, you know, juggle with hold bubble, which then you can lead to all those goodies. So I think it's pretty good. And then it has the lethal hit if you whiff from afar. On block, however, these is super poop. It's not really a frame trap at all. You know, that's I-20. Okay, I-24, so this will clash. Yes. So I-22 will clash with their fastest option, so that's very bad. And, you know, also she doesn't go into stance. She's minus 18 anyway. So just throwing out an I-18 in her face, she has to make a pretty, you know, I see the future read to not, like, lose a bunch of life. So, you know, we all see the future, but not all the time. No, you know. So there's that. And I think that, okay, there's also 4-4B, which this on block is, like, really awful. And shouldn't really be used like this. Unless, again, you're just capitalizing on them being like, oh my god, I didn't expect her to run in. Nothing works here, you know. You can't get anything to work if you're just doing this. You can, yeah, you know. Yeah, look. So that's I-16, flopping her down from bubble. So don't get hit by that, please. Or do, and I'll win. So those are the entries. Now we've finally been able to kind of cover how many situations you're going to see and where they coincide and what are some good general answers to them. 2B has ways to flip scripts. Like I said, she cannot go into stance, and the frames on that change, but they're usually disadvantageous for her. So if you're being proactive in your defense, like 2Aing, like for example, 1B into that, you know, as I explained earlier, I-12 is the clash. However, if I try to, like, not go into stance and try to frame trap you that way, it will not work. You know, she'll be minus and you'll get your counter hit anyway. So that is also another thing to consider. But you also need to be aware of spacings, because, you know, on normal hit, there's a push out, you know, on hit. So if you're too far to 2A, I can wait and then launch you. But again, that's for the encyclopedia coming out in 2038. When I can get degrees again, because everything's open.